Hey Houston, this is Sean Lacey, aka Ms. Officer. I pray you all are all well. Whenever you hear this message, I pray all is well in your lives and your family lives and everyone and everything and anything attached to you is winning. What I want to share to you all is a situation that happened in my own life this weekend, and God brought it back to my memory so that I could share with you all. Okay, I have a son, and my son is 28. So on Saturday, we were at home, and he went outside into the backyard. The next thing, I looked out the window and I saw him squatting down, and then I saw smoke. Now I'm thinking to myself, why am I seeing smoke? Of course, because where there's smoke, there's fire, right? So I'm like, why am I seeing smoke? So I began to get somewhat angry because I didn't know what he was doing. Okay. And my son has always been this extremely curious young man, a great young man, an extremely curious young man. Okay. So I decided to go out into the backyard to see what was up. And so when I got out into the backyard, he had a magnifying glass. He was squatting down with a magnifying glass, and he was setting some leaves on fire. And he was using the sun, the rays of the sun, to set leaves on fire. And so, of course, you know, because I know my son, I know he wasn't doing anything harmful. But I had to laugh about it. I had to step back and I had to think, because initially I did, get in this mindset of what's going on, and anger tried to rise up in me, and a whole lot of things ran through me before I went to truly find out the situation. Now I want you to understand, excuse me, my son is a 28-year-old black man in Houston, in America, and he could be anywhere doing anything, but he chose to be out in the backyard doing something scientific. So I had to step back and I had to thank God. I had to simply thank God. So, what I want to share with you all is, no matter where your children are at this very moment, what they may be up to, may it be positive, negative, or otherwise, step back and just say a prayer for them. A lot of times we want to jump straight into being angry, and then when we get angry or agitated or irritated, we can say some hurtful and painful things to our children or to other individuals regarding our children. One of the things that I will say, and I'm going to ask you, before you say something hateful or angry or painful to your child, step back and just pray for them. Because God word says that there's life and death in our tongues. It's no in between. It's simply life or death. You can speak life over your child, or you can speak death over your child. When you say something negative into the atmosphere, one thing I've learned, there are angels and there are demons in the atmosphere, and they don't have an understanding. All they do is work off of words. So if you say that kid is stupid, he always doing something silly, he's always into trouble, well, that demon is going to pick up those words, and that's going to be what your child will continue to do. But if you speak life, and even if your kid may be in TDC locked up, but if you speak life and you say, oh, that's a great young lady, she ran into some trouble, she ran into a few problems along the way, but she's great and she has greatness in her. If you speak words of life, then that will change because your words have gone out into the atmosphere. Angels pick it up, and then that's exactly what your child becomes. So before you speak negative over your child, try your best to speak. Please, not try your best. Please just speak positive. Because understand also, this earth is controlled by the devil. This earth is it's just pure evilness in it. Okay? So the devil is already condemning you, have condemned your children, everything attached to you, because God has a purpose um, God has a purpose for each one of us on this earth, and your child has a purpose. Along the way, they can get sidetracked, they can get caught up in different things, but your words can change that trajectory for them. I always say to especially mothers, but to fathers, guardians, who aunts, uncle, who are the village, whoever is praying over that child or whoever is in that young person's life. And I ask you all to speak life. I say, take them before the courts of heaven. If if you've ever dealt with the judicial system here in Houston, if you've ever had to go to court, you know there's a prosecutor and you know there's a defense. Well, the prosecutor is always there to make the guilty verdict against you or your child come to pass. Well, guess what? It's the same thing in heaven. The devil is the prosecution, and he's always trying to make a case against your child to kill your child. So you have to stand up and be the defense. Okay? You have to plead. You have to take your child before the courts of heaven, before God, and plead for your child. And that starts with speaking life over your child, over any young person. That starts with speaking life, uplifting them, giving them words of encouragement, constantly, nonstop. Okay, I wanted to share that. That's something that occurred in my life again with my son. I have spoken words of positivity over his life, his entire life. Have I been angry with him before because of things that he does? Yes, I've been concerned, but I never stopped speaking positive words over his life. So I ask you all to do the same things because I promise you it makes a difference. All right, Houston, I love you. I pray you all have a wonderful day, wonderful night, wonderful evening whenever you hear this message. All right? Hey, Houston, this is Sean Lacey, aka Miss Officer, and I'm signing out. Have a blessed day, Houston. Bye bye.